What's up, everybody? Noah Caser back here for another episode of Noah Caser Live. So, we have a lot to talk about on this show today, so let's get right into it. We're going to go into Beverly Hills Cop Axel F. I just got a screener for this one, and I'm actually happy that I waited until after the review embargo, because here we go. Beverly Hills Cop Axel F is a movie I've been very, very excited for. I actually binge-watched the first three right before watching this one. So, 40 years after his unforgettable first case in Beverly Hills, Detroit cop Axel Foley returns to do what he does best, solve crimes and cause chaos. However, let's get into the small issue here, and that is the plot. So the plot is the main issue here. It gives us all the characters we know and love, as well as supporting performance, a very nice new supporting actor in Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who gives a nice, solid, awesome performance. It was really nice to see him back in movies. I know he's been doing some Netflix shows, Showtime shows, but he was very well liked here. It's a well-shot, very fun, well-paced action film. However, the plot is very lazy. It does something I don't think needs to be done anymore. A lot of these big blockbuster action movies are doing this thing where they are just adding in this plot device that is rejuvenating everything, that is ruining the action genre, whether it's a microchip or a flash drive or something. This one has an SD card, so they're looking for an SD card. That's basically the whole plot. And we also get a nice subplot with Axel Foley's daughter. We don't know her very much. She doesn't have a whole lot of development as an actual character, but she does have good romantic chemistry, very good romantic chemistry with Levitt here. They do a nice job of building their chemistry on screen, however, not in the script. They do a little bit. They introduce it during like a house hunting scene, and that was very nice to see, but they don't do anything with it. They don't capitalize on that potential romantic subplot that isn't really explored all that much. We also have a very, very nice returning performance from Judge Reinhold. I grew up with him primarily primarily in the Santa Claus movies. I really enjoy those films. However, this movie suffers from a razor-thin plot, but it banks on nostalgia. It does the same song from the other three, and I like that. I mean, what do you want me to say? It's one that I really enjoyed. It's a fun, well-shot a well-shot action movie, particularly during the first scene involving a snowplow. That was very good. Eddie Murphy delivers on his one-liners. He knows how to zing them, whether they were improv or not. He's Eddie Murphy. He's always hilarious. I wasn't a massive fan of his Christmas film, Candy Cane Lane on Prime last year. I didn't like that one all that much, but overall, I thought this was a pretty solid film. Well likable characters. His chemistry with Levitt is great because they are teaming up. We get our characters we love that don't get overshadowed by our new characters, but they don't build this plot up enough to really make you care about this SD card, and the story itself isn't all that intriguing. If you're looking for a fun action film, this is exactly what you want, but it's a good little sequel. It's actually probably my second or third favorite of the entire year. Well, no, of the franchise. I really enjoyed this. I'm not even going to lie to you. I enjoyed this. So, next up, we're going to go into some Hallmark movies, because I do have two Hallmark movies to talk about. I have to say this beforehand, because I am buddies with this director. Falling Like Snowflakes. Falling Like Snowflakes was directed by my good friend Max McGuire, and he knows that when I review one of his films, I don't mean any harm. I'm just doing my job as a critic. So, Falling Like Snowflakes is the brand new film starring Rebecca Dalton and Marcus Rosner. This is the first movie that premiered during the Hallmark Channel Christmas in July. It's all about a photographer determined to complete her exhibit by capturing a rare photo of a 12-sided snowflake. And she enlists the help of a childhood friend, and they go on a mission they'll never forget. Marcus Rosner plays a guy named Noah. I like that name. I wonder why. And Rebecca Dalton plays Tegan. So, I was very excited for this film, one, because it's directed by my friend, but also Rebecca Dalton and Marcus Rosner are two staples in the Hallmark community. I'm not going to say this was a phenomenal film, because it wasn't. It was not a phenomenal film. It's a well-shot film. It has good moments to it. The issue is the script is the issue. Once you get to the actual story details and some of the exciting moments that happen, particularly in the woods, that's where it got a little bit wonky. There's one scene where they are walking in the woods and they can't find each other, even though they're 5 feet apart from each other, literally 5 to 10 feet apart from each other. You can literally see them looking at each other, and you can hear them. They can hear each other. I don't get it. There's a scene where a branch falls and Becky moves him out of the way. Tegan moves Noah out of the way. I really enjoyed this movie. However, that scene really jarred me because it felt too much like a Lifetime movie. And that's not what I want in a Hallmark movie. Sure, it had a different feel to it and a different feel to the scene, but there wasn't enough impact to that scene. They didn't do the typical Hallmark-esque thing where they added in this big romantic moment with them moving and falling on top of each other, and they look into each other's eyes. They just didn't do that. There was another moment that I really did enjoy, and that is that we have some beautiful cinematography. But what I really enjoyed here is the chemistry between these two. The scene with the kiss at the very, very end. I did enjoy the kiss at this because the kiss is well shot. It has great score with it. It felt like it flowed in the moment. My major issue is the script could have used a bit of retuning, specifically with the wood scene. It started to drag about halfway through. So not a bad film overall. I really enjoyed Becky and Marcus as this couple, as Noah and Tegan, as two characters who were friends. And I really enjoyed that. I don't know what to say. I really, really enjoyed it. So what I'm going to give this out of a score of 5. I'm just going to say this. This is one of the better films that I've seen from Hallmark in a good while. This is definitely one film that I can see myself enjoying multiple more times over. And I'm going to give this one a 3.5 out of 5 for a Hallmark film. This is really, really solid. So next up, we will be talking about the brand new Hallmark Movies Now film. Hallmark Movies Now. And that is Operation Nutcracker. Operation Nutcracker is the brand new film that I just interviewed. I just interviewed the writer of this, named Erica Deutschman. I will have that interview up for you tomorrow. When an antique nutcracker set to be auctioned at the Warby family Christmas charity goes missing, a demanding event planner and the heir to the Warby dynasty try to track it down. This one stars Ashley Newborough and Christopher Russell. Directed by David Weaver. This is co-written by Erica, but also it's co-written by Kathy Beer. I really enjoyed this for what it was. By no means this is a phenomenal film. Don't get me wrong. This is not one of the best shot films of the entire year. It is definitely one that I'm looking forward to seeing what they do in the future with Katie and Erica. The main issue here is this film really, really drags. And when I mean it drags hard. It drags hard. This is one of those films where I can sit down, enjoy it. But here's the thing. If the story starts to drag about midway through, that's where I start to really lose interest. Because about midway through this film, we do get a nice little moment. A nice little moment between our two leads. And that moment is when they are looking for this doll. And when they're looking for the doll isn't actually with them. So let's get into the actual plot of this film. This movie is all about Christopher Russell and Ashley Newborough are in a airport. Their bags get switched. They think that they have each other's suitcases, and Christopher Russell has to take this priceless doll, this priceless antique, to his mom. And his mom is holding this gala, this charity. And this charity really is a big thing in town because it's been going for years. They need to raise money because this doll is going to be auctioned off. It is hundreds of years old. It is really old. It's cherished. It's beloved. And this is one where I can say I enjoyed that subplot or that main plot. The other issue is we get a smaller issue is that we get a completely different family that they don't focus upon all that much until the latter half of the film, where the Nutcracker is actually in another guy's suitcase. So 3 suitcases got switched because they looked exactly the same. You might say, well, how do they know? How do they know? Well, because the name tags were ripped off of it. Christopher Russell's name tag was ripped off of it. Whoops. That's Hallmark for you. But this is just one of those films I can see myself easily enjoying. But when you start to drag, that's where I have the issue. I really have the issue when you start to bore me about midway through the film because they're not doing a good enough job. They're not doing a good enough job of building this relationship. They don't build our family. They do add in the small issue of his mother, but his mother isn't a likable character because they are just so unlikable. This family is so unlikable. We know nothing about them besides they're the Warbies. They're a powerful family. They don't give us any real story to them, any real character to them. Another thing is that we have a completely different subplot involving this guy's daughter because his daughter is supposed to get this hot toy. So imagine if it was a Tickle Me Elmo in the mid-90s. This is what this toy is. It's a priceless toy. And he ends up seeing that there is this this Nutcracker in there, and she's sick. Well, she's injured, so she can't be a part of the ballet. She's upset about that. There's just too much going on in here, and not enough story to go around in this. That's not a bad thing, okay? What you can say is that this is going to be one of those films where I can sit back and enjoy it. I can easily sit back and rewatch this one again. I don't know if this will air on the Hallmark Channel. But definitely check it out if you're interested. But don't go into it expecting one of the best films of the entire year from Hallmark Channel because you aren't going to get that. This is just a subpar Hallmark film that does have some decent chemistry between our leads and a well-written script. However, it could have been tightened up just a little bit. Just a little bit. With that being said, which film was better? Was it Falling Like Snowflakes? Or was it this one? I'm going to have to say that it was actually the Falling Like Snowflakes. I really enjoyed that one. Not because it's directed by my friend. Don't get me wrong. Please don't get me wrong. I know Max. I've interviewed him a couple times, so we text back and forth. That movie just had more going for it. I think it's a better made film, a better written film, and overall, a really, really great just story with some issues here and there. Very few Hallmark films are actually perfect. If there's a perfect Hallmark film, I would love to see it. Well, see, I say that, and then there's a Biltmore Christmas, Christmas Under Wraps, a Royal Christmas, as well as Through Osmond and a Baby, It Was Always You. Multiple things like that. This is just one where I can't see myself going in to this every year. It's a good film. Don't get me wrong. It's a very good film, but not one that I think I'll ever watch again. Well, see, I said that wrong. It's not one where I can see myself re-watching this every year. I can see myself watching this every couple of years. I hope it gets a DVD release because I will happily support anything that Erica writes and Katie writes, but also anything that Christopher Russell is in, as well as Ashley Newborough. So I'm going to end up giving this film, I'm going to end up giving Operation Nutcracker a 3 out of 5. So, before we go into the next topics, I am going to tell you what else I have going. We will be having a little bit of a guest coming on. He should be on any minute. But we will be talking about Wicked. Wicked moves away from Moana and opens against Gladiator 2. Inside Out 2 hits $1 billion. Dune Messiah and Star Wars Episode 10 open on the same day. Who moves and why is that so significant? Netflix top 10. The Netflix top 10 movies and TV. What is in the top 10? Box office results and what is releasing this week. So, as we wait for my guest to come in, this is going to be very exciting because you haven't seen him in a while. But this is something that I would just like to talk a little bit about. Just a little bit about. We got some Hallmark news, okay? We got some Hallmark news. And the Hallmark news is that we have the August lineup. We have the August lineup. I'm going to show it to you here in just a minute. August lineup. Why are you showing me 2022? That is not what I want. I want 2024. 2024. There we go. That should do it. Here we go. We'll just go with... We will just go with this one right here. Get down here so you can... Wow, it is moving so slow that I literally cannot get it down there fast enough. Here we go. So as we wait for my guest to come in here, we're going to do this. We're going to take a look at the Hallmark 2024 lineup for August. This is the Summer Nights lineup. So we have Junebug. Junebug premieres on Saturday, August 3rd at 8 p.m. Stars Autumn Reeser and Aaron O'Connell. When an 8-year-old version of herself starts appearing to her, Autumn Reeser, named Juniper, begins to realize that her life is not what she had hoped it would be as a child. Young Junebug pushes her to achieve her dreams, to start writing again, and to collaborate with the cute artist Alex, played by O'Connell, that she recently met to get her life back on track. My Dreams of You will premiere on Saturday, August 10th, starring Skylar Samuels and Kapil. I'm not even going to try and say that last name because I am awful at last names. I'm not even going to lie to you. I am awful at last names. But I'm looking forward to this one. I'm really looking forward to this one. Grace has recurring dreams about a handsome stranger named Michael, due to a mix-up in dream control. When they finally meet in person, Grace is shocked to learn he has no idea who she is. A Costa Rican Wedding premieres on Hallmark Channel on August 17th, starring Rhiannon Fish and Christopher Russell. A clumsy maid of honor, played by Rhiannon Fish, gets help from her handsome nemesis, played by Christopher Russell, when things go awry at her best friend's Costa Rican wedding. Nellie Knows Mysteries. This one stars Pascal Hutton and Kevin Smith. When an unusual handwritten letter arrives at Nellie's office, she identifies the handwriting as belonging to her childhood friend Dahlia, claiming her boyfriend Blake is being unfaithful. Determined to help, she wants some answers and rushes to Blake's home only to find his dead body. When Dahlia becomes the prime suspect, the new and handsome detective in town named Michael Hogan, played by Smith, must work with Nellie to prove that her childhood friend is not the killer everyone believes her to be. The Magic of Lemon Drops is a brand new film starring Lindsay Von Zecca and Ian Harding. And that's all about when Holly, played by Von Zecca, when Lolly's aunt gives her 3 magical lemon drops, she gets to experience what her life would be like if she had made different choices and lived those unfulfilled dreams. Head Over Heels premieres on Saturday, August 31st, starring Rebecca Dalton and Olivier Renaud. And Olivier Renaud is one we just saw in Romance with a Twist. A suburban girl at heart, Addison is off to prove herself in the world of high-end fashion footwear when she lands a life-changing internship at an Upper East Side studio leading up to the star-studded New York Fashion Week. Addison is determined to hold on to her integrity and her family values while struggling to balance it all and forge a path to success and romance, although she may fall head over heels while trying to make her dreams come true. Very, very exciting. Very, very exciting. And my guest is here. So we will have him on in just a second. Where'd it go? Here we go. We got 1 or 2 more. Jazz Ramsey, a canine mystery, Hallmark mystery film. Rachel Skarsten and Corey Sevier. When Jazz Ramsey and her crime detective dog Zeus stumble upon an old crime scene, the canine trainer, her star pup, and her ex-boyfriend, lead detective Nick, played by Sevier, are thrown into the investigation. So that is everything. That is everything coming out in August on the Hallmark Channel. So that is very, very exciting. Very, very exciting. And my guest is here. So once he pops on the screen here.
Can you see me okay?
We can see you.
Hello, everyone.
This is a stranger to the channel. You guys have never seen him before, no. But this is a lighter topic than our last topic we did.
That's right.
Much, much nicer. But I asked my good friend Kyle to come on because, one, we've been wanting to do a show together, but also because he has a couple of films that he would like to talk about, and they are early reviews. So, first, I'm going to let him talk about the new faith-based film, Sound of Hope.
Okay, so Sound of Hope. I actually saw this, I think, 2 weeks ago. And the movie officially releases this week on Thursday, July 4th. The big 4th of July weekend. This is the latest film from Angel Studios. Angel Studios is, of course, the newer faith-based studio on the block, kind of succeeding Pureflix and Sony's Affirm Films and all that. Last year, they exploded with the Jim Caviezel thriller film Sound of Freedom, and their new film is called Sound of Hope, the story of Possum Trot. Now, when I first saw this advertised in front of another Angel Studios film called Cabrini, it was just called Possum Trot. And then all of a sudden, they got together, I think it was with Ben Shapiro's company, and they said, we're going to call it Sound of Hope, the story of Possum Trot. And they know exactly what they're doing because Sound of Freedom earned near $250 million or more last year when it came out. So they're hoping for the same result. When the movie starts, actually, when the title pops up, you see Possum Trot right in the frame, and then it zooms out to right about here, and it says Sound of Hope, the story of Possum Trot. So I want to start this by saying right up top, I am of a basic faith. I do believe in a God. I don't pray very often. I'm not against people that are very religious. I really am not. If you're a very religious person, that is your thing. All I ask is you just respect what I believe, and I'll respect what you believe. That being said, faith-based films can be done really well. There have been some really good examples of faith-based films, like Zachary Levi's film American Underdog. That was really good. And a Pureflix one that they did a couple of years ago called Indivisible. I think that's with one or two people from Grey's Anatomy. I don't know, because I don't have 17 years to sit down and watch Grey's Anatomy. Um, but so I want to get that out of the way right up top. And I would also like to say that if you are a person of faith, I would highly, 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 strongly recommend staying away from Sound of Hope when it releases this week, because this, I think when you and I talked, I had mentioned that the worst religious film that I had seen was Kirk Cameron's Saving Christmas. This launches past it by a mile. This is, I've never seen something so disgusting and despicable like this. The story, to give you kind of the rundown, and I have my phone with me. I moved my computer into the den, the little movie U caddy corner there, and I got my picture of me and my lady up there. So if you're watching, Molly, I love you.
Well, speaking of which, not to cut in.
No, go ahead.
But we have a commenter.
We do.
And it's Molly.
Hey, sweetheart.
I was waiting for just the right time. Just the right time.
So Possum Trot, according to Wikipedia, it's inspired by a true story. The film follows Donna and Reverend Martin of Possum Trot, Texas, as they ignite a fire in the hearts of their rural church to embrace kids in foster care that no one else would take in. By doing the impossible, adopting 77 children, this East Texas community proved that with determined love, the battle for America's most vulnerable can be won. Of course, it's in the heart of Texas. That Texas is considered like the big beating heart of the Bible Belt. If not, it would be Georgia, one of the two. And that's fine. What they're doing is they're basically, for the 4th of July holiday, I guess they're going to do another one next year. They're going to feature like awareness of like child in peril sort of things. Sound of Freedom focused on child trafficking. And it's a very difficult subject to tackle. I thought they did that rather well. I could have done without Jim Caviezel standing on a soapbox during the end credits. But other than that, I thought it was well done, for as well done as a film as they could do. I thought they treated it very respectfully. There were a couple moments where it got a little over the top. This treats the subject of child abuse and foster care so inappropriately and so disgustingly that there's about a scene halfway through, which I'll get into later. So minor spoiler alerts if you're one of the two people out there who's like, oh, I'm really itching to go see this.
You ruined it for me, Kyle. You ruined this movie. No.
It's basically about these two people. The woman is, first of all, this movie takes a while to get to the point. It's 2 hours and 10 minutes. And the main couple, Donna and her reverend husband, Martin, her mother dies at the beginning of the film. And it's a scene that I almost wanted to kind of start giggling, because the woman is having a heart attack. And she makes a show very slowly sitting down and leaning back. And she leans for the phone that's right next to her, but then pats her chest, does it again, picks up the phone, pats her chest. She doesn't call 911 or anything. She calls some random kid that lives in the neighborhood. And then the next scene, you see this kid running to the car that has our main character in it. The mother meant a lot, obviously, to this woman. The mother showed a lot of love and kindness. And this woman is so distraught. She's very depressed. She falls into a depression, which is understandable. She comes out of this depression in the most unbelievable way possible. She goes to the woods by this little like cabin or hut that she played in when she was younger. And she scoots down at the bottom of the tree, and she's looking at like 2 or 3 kids that are playing, which weird. You're a random adult, so why are you doing that? And then she goes, oh, and she stands up and she smiles and she walks right back into the door of her house, and she tells her husband, I'm much better because God spoke to me and told me that we should adopt a child. And even the Reverend goes, I don't think that's the right thing to do. They do it anyway. The main, and I want to bring this scene up because this scene is in the trailer for the movie. It occurs within the first half hour, and I'm going to bring it up because this is the first sign that something is very disastrously wrong.
Okay.
There's a scene in the trailer, and like I said, it happens very early on in the movie where there is a child. The child's on the phone with 911 because she's hiding in a bathroom, and in the next room over, there's some biker dude that's confronting her mother. It's a very intense kind of scene to witness. Obviously, they're not making this movie to make light of this kind of situation. Um, but as the scene crescendos to such a point, and we're getting the music's rising and we're getting closer, the guy pulls out a gun and shoots the mother, and you see the 3 bullet holes into the wall of the bathroom, mere feet away from this kid who's on the phone with 911. And the reason I bring that scene up is because that kid never pops up again in the entire movie. It's never mentioned again. It's never seen from again. Never. It immediately cuts to this social worker who's played by Elizabeth Mitchell. For those who are Disney nuts out there, she is Mrs. Claus in the Tim Allen Santa Claus films and the Disney Plus series. Elizabeth Mitchell is the social worker, and she assigns this completely unrelated foster child that we didn't just watch to this couple. This foster child is a teenager. She's a troubled teen, so we're tapping into that cliche. And the treatment that this film gives between these 2 people, this couple, and this foster child is so wildly ridiculous that it is more unbelievable than anything in, I would say, a Star Wars movie or a Lord of the Rings film.
Oh,
And
wow.
these are real human beings we're talking about. I believe I could sit and watch the 4-hour plus version of Return of the King, and be enthralled and be like, oh my God, these are like real characters. These are real fleshed out people. Meanwhile, I'm watching a movie that has supposedly real people, and they're acting like cartoon characters. They're, by the way, this couple has 2 children of their own. And once this foster child enters the picture, those children are forgotten about very quickly. They turn their focus onto the foster child, which I understand. With foster children and with foster parents, you're going to want to turn your attention to them. You want to focus on them and make sure that they are a priority to you.
Mhm.
This movie, I forgot the birth kids were in there until they pop up again, like very sporadically, when the filmmakers are like, oh yeah, by the way, you guys want to say a line? They make sure that everybody knows you're still here. There is a scene halfway through, so minor spoiler alert. There is a scene about halfway through where this movie, because it was teetering for me. I was at a 1/2 star with this. I grade on a scale of 0 to 4 stars. I was like, maybe its heart is in the right place. I hope there's a scene that can pull it out at least a little bit, give it some sort of credit. This scene, they're cleaning her room. They're making her bed, and they lift up the one pillow that she has, and there's a knife underneath the pillow. And they ask her about it because she just very conveniently, as soon as they find the knife, she walks right into the room. And they go, what is this for? What are you doing? And she very succinctly explains, that's to protect myself in case anyone comes in and tries to attack me. And they get they put the knife down, and the foster mother, tries to grab her hands and comfort her. And when the teenage foster child pulls her hands away, and she goes, I want to be left alone right now, or something along those lines. What follows is the foster mother then forcefully grabs a hold of the child, tries to comfort her and talk to her. The child is fighting against this. The mother then turns the child around, ferociously spanks her about 6 or 7 times, throws her up against a friggin' wall, and starts screaming in her face. And it was at that moment, the movie, in my head, I said, this is a 0-star film. I have an hour and 5 minutes left of this. There is no way this movie can redeem itself for what it has just done. And it never did. It got worse and worse and worse and worse. With every ticking second and with every scene that kept going on and on, it was so disastrous and it was so over the top. Had I not seen The Private Eye earlier this year, which I was one of 10 people to go find that in a theater, that's a movie with Matt Rife as the lead character.
Oh,
If I hadn't seen that, this would be the worst movie of the year. But The Private Eye irritated me for so many other reasons. Angel Studios, for those who don't know, at the end of every single one of their movies, this happened with Sound of Freedom, this happened with Cabrini, this happened with The Shift. It's going to happen until they get sick and tired of it. And I'm sick and tired of it. But based on the people at my screening, they're the older people and they fell for it. So they know what market they're tapped into. At the end of every Angel Studios film, there's about, I don't know, an hour of end credits. They put a QR code on the screen. A site. That was the other movie I was going to mention. They did that this year. That one wasn't great, but it was fine. They put a QR code on the screen, and they always they're like, I know it's like not traditionally kosher to pull your phone out in a movie theater, but you can do it just this one time. We're giving you permission. Scan this QR code to pay it forward. And the whole method is you scan this stupid QR code. The only thing that you're paying for is another ticket for this movie. They even make that explicitly clear. It's not a donation. I could understand the use of a QR code if you're making it go towards kids that are in foster care, because that is an epidemic. We do need children out of foster care, but it's like the saying goes, every child needs a parent, but every parent doesn't need a child. Does that make sense? Because there are bad people out there, and we don't want the bad people getting their hands on the children. The real pastor and his wife come up at the end of the movie. They have the QR code. They're like, pay it forward to buy a ticket for someone who can watch this movie. And for doing that, you'll get a deleted scene. If you give us money, you'll get a deleted scene that you won't be able to see anywhere else. They're not, if the movie gets a home release, it's not going to get, you have to give them money to access something. How horrible is that? That is, and people were clapping and everything. Now, I don't know if this is going to be in the general release of the film. When I saw it, it was that, and then this is the first Angel Studios film that does it twice, because right after the pastor and his wife away, they fade off screen. The credits start rolling, and another message from Elizabeth Mitchell pops up. And the reason I say I don't know if it's going to be in general release, because she was talking and she's like, you got to see this before everyone else. Make sure you get the word out before July 4th. Well, thank you. I am going to get the word out. This is horrible. This is one of the worst films I've ever seen in my entire life. Molly was supposed to go with me to see this. I called her right after and I said, thank God you didn't, because you would have been sick. This is horrible. And she's already had a bad enough year with movies this year, with Madam Web, with Daddy-O, with Sasquatch Sunset. I feel so bad for her. Thankfully, the next movie that we're going to talk about here, her and I did see together, was a much better movie. But Sound of Hope, flat 0. Don't give this any of your money. Don't give this any of your time. If it shows up, if you're at a flea market and the bootleg guy is giving away copies of this for nothing, take it and just throw it in the trash. Horrible movie. Absolutely do not see it.
Now you know why I brought him on. Now you know why I brought this dude. I've known this dude for a long time, okay? When we're pissed off about a movie, when we're seriously pissed off about a movie, we will rip it a new asshole when it deserves it.
And this movie deserved it. I mean, and shame on the studio for thinking that, this is acceptable. I mean, yes, a film studio's main goal is to make money, especially make
Mhm.
their money back. A little insider secret for you guys: faith-based films are the cheapest films to make and the most profitable ones because they are so cheap. They usually don't cost more than $10 million and they make a killing at the box office
On
because
opening
they're
weekend.
made so cheaply.
On opening weekend. So with my family, I wear this every single day, but I'm not as strong as my mom and dad are.
Right.
So I still believe I love God, I love Jesus, everything. But with me, faith-based films are that one genre where I know I'm not going to get a good film the majority of the time. Every once in a while, there's like uh, a breakthrough. I really liked that one.
I'm actually looking at that right now.
Almost.
I have that.
I did like one. Oh shoot, why am I forgetting it? It came out last year.
Last year.
Last year, we went to one. I will think of it as soon as the stream is over. That happened last week. But there's like four I think are really, really good. Saving Christmas is the worst one, though, to me. And the sad thing is that my family wants to go to the movies on Thursday, and there's only three options that they'll see. It'll be Inside Out 2, Despicable Me, or this. And I really don't want to see this.
I'll deter them away from this. I mean, this will make you lose faith if you're very religious. Like I went and I was like, what? This is horrible. And then these are the same people that applaud movies like this that have an issue with the very most mundane films imaginable. Movies like animated stuff, like Trolls Band Together. Oh, there's pagan symmetry in there. Like, what the hell are you talking about? Migration. Ducks can't talk. No shit, they can't talk. Wonka. I'm sure there are plenty of religious people that don't like Wonka, and they shouldn't, because the one movie that they shouldn't like is Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, because that was terrible.
Why is that person orange? Deep Roy was not orange in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
It was ridiculous. But yes, that's July 4th. This week I am seeing Despicable Me 4 tomorrow. I'm also seeing the Hindi film Kill tomorrow. Unfortunately, no Thursday night screenings for Maxine. Don't know why. Guess they want to give Sound of Hope at least a day. But I'm going Friday morning at 10 a.m. to see Maxine, so I'm really excited.
And we will go over everything coming out this week, because this is a packed week. I'm not going to lie to you. This is a packed week for
with
me
a holiday
in general. But
yeah, with holiday weeks, they pack the movies in. It's like with Christmas or Thanksgiving, they will pack those in.
Mm-hmm. So the next film he's going to talk about, I want to see. Oh, we do have 2 or 3 more comments. Hey, Zach Attack Reviews. Welcome in, Zach.
Hello.
Awesome friend. He's live right now as we speak. He does a live show just like this. Fantastic show. Subscribe to him. Get him to 1,000 subscribers because he deserves it. Make sure to like the video, everybody. Like the video. Stick the thumb straight up your ass. And then, oh yeah.
Her and I hate him so much. I think I don't understand why the dude, he must have dirt on a lot of people to be that popular or that shoved so much to the forefront. The dude can't act. He's not charming. He's not funny. He's a horrible person. And he's from Ohio.
Did you see his stand-up special on Netflix?
I refuse to watch it because with Netflix stuff, that's more optional. But this, The Private Eye was a theatrical release, and I went, shit.
Well, then you didn't have to see him act in the last episode of season 2, part 1 of that '90s show, where he plays a pilot.
I hate that 70s show, so that 90s show isn't appealing to me.
Yeah, I love the show, but that's because I love the majority of those actors. Danny thrown to the side, but yeah, for obvious reasons. But next up, I want to see this. It depends on if my girlfriend can get off work or not, because we want to see this together, or else I will get in big trouble. So, and that is Fly Me to the Moon.
Fly Me to the Moon. Yes. So actually, that's what I want to start with. Is this screened yesterday? I believe at AMC as well, but I know for sure at Regal as part of their Mystery Movie Monday things. This was their 37th one. I've been to all 37, and they are doing advanced early access screenings. Check your local theaters, see if they're following what Regal is doing as well. I know the two that are closest by me are doing it. 7:05 p.m. on Friday, July 5th and Saturday, July 6th. Again, Friday, July 5th and Saturday, July 6th, 7:05 p.m. for early access screenings for Fly Me to the Moon. Go see it. It's a good date night movie. Spoiler alert. So Molly and I were going to go to that. But when I found out, because with Mystery Movie Mondays, I mean, people can speculate and pretty much figure out and guarantee what the movie is ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
When I found out that there was a 99% chance that it was Fly Me to the Moon, we went last night, and it was, and I can very assuredly say that this is another movie that's well over 2 hours. Doesn't feel like it because it moves along very nicely. This is a romantic historical comedy drama film, what have you, starring Channing Tatum and Scarlett Johansson, along with Jim Nash and Woody Harrelson. The film follows basically how we put Apollo 11, how we launched that into space in 1969. Channing Tatum plays like the chief director of operations over at NASA, and Scarlett Johansson plays an ad executive from Manhattan. She comes in to basically sell the moon. If you've seen the trailer, and the movie is very heavily advertised, you kind of have an idea of where things are going. Also in the trailer, I will point this out, they do talk about filming the moon landing as a backup. I can't necessarily get into that aspect of the film because that's the second half, and I want to remain fair to those who are wanting to see this. But her goal is to sell the moon. And, of course, butting heads ensue between her and Channing. And eventually they start connecting. And I have to say that a big fascination of mine, especially with history, is anything having to do with the Kennedy administration, John F. Kennedy. And in the beginning of the movie, there's an archival news clip from him that says, before the decade's up, before the 1960s are over, I want to get a man up on that moon. The Russians have done it. Why can't we? So I was really drawn in. Movies like Kevin Costner has two great JFK-centered movies. One that's literally called JFK, and the other one that's called 13 Days, about the Cuban Missile Crisis. This was a really, really good movie. I felt very, very. It's a very comforting film. It's a movie that eases you in. It doesn't bombard you. It's not a movie that says, we're not here to be loud. We're not here to go over the top. We're here to be ourselves, and we welcome you to come to join us to be ourselves. And just relax, enjoy the ride. That's what I did. I thought that this was a really entertaining movie, really well written, really well done. Channing Tatum is really, really good here. This is his first movie of the summer. His second film, Blink Twice, comes out at the end of August, which looks really good. And then this is, I believe, Scarlett Johansson's first movie of the year, unless she did some voice for an animated movie that I don't know of. But they both work really well together. There's like a lot of cute moments of their flirty back and forth chemistry that I feel work very well. Woody Harrelson is a supporting performer in here. He plays Mo Burkus. He is basically, he works with President Nixon, and he finds Kelly, that's Scarlett Johansson's character, brings her on to NASA for the moon mission, and he's exceptional. I've always really loved Woody Harrelson as an actor. Um, it's just a really nice, easygoing movie, and it is a perfect date movie. I mean, it's very inoffensive in its nature. It's very light on its feet. It's very charming. Um, the only criticism I have, and it's a very minor one, and you experience it more in the second half, but the character does get introduced in the first half. There is a commercial director played by Jim Nash that works with Scarlett Johansson's character at the advertising agency. It is a gay character, which perfect. That doesn't matter to me. I'm offering. I'm an ally, so include where you need to include it. My problem is it kind of plays it a little too much like an over-the-top effeminate stereotype. He's very exaggerated at times. It just kind of felt off to me and kind of took me out of the movie. But Jim Nash does do a really good job in the role. Fly Me to the Moon also has very, very good needle drops, basically a good soundtrack. It's got classic 60s hits, including one of the greatest songs ever composed, written, performed, Hold On, I'm Coming, which was covered beautifully by Cynthia Erivo in 2018's Bad Times at the El Royale. This also has, of course, the title song, Fly Me to the Moon. No, not My Way. I don't think it has My Way. My Way was in a trailer that we got before the movie. My Way could have been in the movie. But this is just a very fun film. And I do highly recommend it. If you're interested in seeing it, but you're like, I don't need to rush to see it, it does officially release from Sony and App Films on Friday, July 12th. If you do want to see it early and you missed yesterday's mystery movie, or AMC's like Screen Unseen, or Cinemark's mystery movie, because now they're jumping on with it. As I said, Friday, July 5th and Saturday, July 6th, that's this Friday and this Saturday, check your local theaters. 7:05 p.m. they are doing early access screenings for it. That's my review. Highly, highly recommend it. I know Molly enjoyed it as well. One of the highlights when we go to the movies is we keep getting the same two trailers, Twisters and Beetlejuice. So we've started melding the catchphrases together. If you feel it, and the juice is loose. So that's my review. Yes, Fly Me to the Moon is a much better movie than Sound of Hope. Highly recommend it.
Well, the funny thing is, when I went to every single movie, except for two, within the past 3 to 4 months, I've always gotten Twisters and Despicable Me. And if I heard twins one more time, I was going to just throw my popcorn at the screen.
Oh, no,
twins, we got twins.
We get excited for that. We really do, because when he pops up with that cowboy hat and he goes, if you feel it. And then with Beetlejuice, they cut a new trailer for it, but for some reason we keep getting the first one. It doesn't matter, because in both ones he goes, the juice is loose. So, yeah. The only trailer that I was annoyed with this year was Argyle, because they never cut a new trailer for it. It was the same one. And the fact of the matter is, it's a really underrated movie, but they played it before every movie I went to in the 3 months leading up to its release.
And this dude goes to the theater 3 or 4 times a week.
I do.
And he's seen, I guarantee you saw that trailer more than anybody else. I guarantee you, more than anybody else, besides the people who cut the stupid thing.
Oh, yeah, I did. It was funny, though, because this past weekend I went and saw Janet Planet Saturday morning, a really good A24 movie. And 2 of the trailers I got were for 2 movies that I had seen the previous night. It was Kinds of Kindness and Horizon. So I'm like, I'm having a fever dream because I got home from Kinds of Kindness at like 1:30 in the morning, and then I got up early to go see this, and I'm like, I just saw this.
I follow what this guy always watches, and I'm like, dude, you're going to a 10 o'clock showing of Kinds of Kindness? You're crazy.
Well, because that I do that because it's time management, and I manage my time very well. And I did that because I was like, well, I really don't have work in the morning, so I don't have to get up. And the only thing I have to get up for is another movie, so I can always come home and go to sleep right after that.
Exactly.
No, if I saw that at like they're doing 10:30 at night show times for Horizon, a movie that clocks in at 3 hours and 1 minute. You're not getting out of the theater until 2 a.m.
Yep. And I feel bad for the people who are working there, so they have to clean up everything if they do have anybody in there for a 10:30.
When I saw Horizon, and I do want to mention that Horizon is a really good movie. Definitely check it out, especially because Chapter 2 is coming out on August 16th, so it's going to be a really unique experience. When I saw it, theater was packed, primarily old people because it's a Western. 3 seats away from me was an old woman who had to be shushed about 10 to 15 times. Nobody could get up and go get somebody, which I guess I understand. It's we're all the way upstairs and we have to travel downstairs to go get someone, but it is what it is. If you're in a movie, shut up. I mean, that's
exactly. I remember this one time. One thing that then we have a couple topics. I remember my friend and I love the Fast and Furious movies, and he had not seen F9 yet. So we went out of town to go and see it. Lo and behold, 5 minutes before the movie starts, group full of teenagers walk in. We're like, oh shit. They were throwing popcorn, throwing bottles, throwing cups. And I said, if you do one more thing, I'm going to get you kicked out of this fucking theater. And they said, do it. So I got up. As soon as I got up, those kids ran down those stairs so quick and acted like they were going into the bathroom. And when I went to go and get the guy, one person was still in the bathroom because he actually still had to go, but everybody else was still there. They ran to the bathroom to fake it. The guy walks up and says, if there's anybody here who has thrown anything, don't raise your hands. Don't raise your hands. And me and my friend and the 7 other people went like that. And he looked at him and said, I know it was you because we warned you not to ruin the movie for other people. So they got up. 20 minutes later, the one friend, I don't know if he was fully constipated or what, but 20 minutes later, he walks in. And he sits in the movie for a good 10 minutes. He gets a text on his phone and goes, oh, shit, my friends actually left me in the theater. Sorry, you throw shit in a theater, that's the worst thing you can possibly do besides taking a phone call.
Or an infant into the movie, which happened to me last year at Plane. There was a full-on fight that happened because a woman brought an infant into the movie and it was crying, and she was just sitting there watching the movie. No, last week when we saw Daddy-O, there were these 2 old people, well, older. They were like in their 60s. And they're sitting there yapping about like political stuff, and they're being very racist. And I went and got somebody. The management at this place is like kind of lax. So I sat down, and finally after 2 minutes, I just leaned over and I said, excuse me, could you please quiet down? You are in a movie theater. He goes, we're providing commentary for the advertisements. It's I said, you're in a movie theater. We can hear you over the advertisements. Like at this point, the pre-show was done. The Maria Menounos bullshit was over, and it was getting into the previews. And I said, we can hear you over them. You know, you're grown adults. Please act like it. He goes, freedom of speech in America. I can't talk in a movie theater. The guy left 15 minutes into the movie, so I don't know what he was getting so worked up about. But, you know, it's whatever. It's not my fault that he looks like he's got a mop on his head.
Yep.
But
he probably forgot that he had to pee 30 minutes before the movie started anyways. But
Freedom of speech. I gotta go pee.
Yeah. But we're going to move it into some quick topics here. And this is going to be rapid fire because this is not major news topics, but this is very interesting to me because I was very nervous about this. Wicked moves away from Moana, but opens up against Gladiator 2.
Well, with holiday movies, I mean, that's just very simple. I mean, they get shuffled around the schedule. I see that happen all the time. They get like, they move a couple days away or something. They're just like, we want to get they want to get the family audience just a few days before Moana does. So
Yep.
That's understandable. Because if you're a family and you're going to see Gladiator 2, then that's a fucked up family.
Oh, what? Well, you know, there's some real priorities there, man. Real priorities. Family Thanksgiving time to see a throat get slit.
Dude, or Wicked. I'm a huge Wizard of Oz fan. The Wizard of Oz is one of the greatest films of all time. Return to Oz, super underrated. I'm very excited for this. So, of course, Moana 2 is the big one that we're really excited for. Although I want a Zootopia 2. Zootopia made more money that year. They both got released the same year.
Yep.
And Moana, I guess because Moana is more popular because it has songs in it.
Yeah. For the past 2 years, it's been the most streamed film on any streaming service in about 10 to 15 years.
Probably because parents just put it on and they're like, go watch it.
That and Frozen have not left the top 5 since they've been on streaming, which is not surprising.
I'm sick of Frozen. I can't, and they're doing another one, which is great, whatever.
Yeah.
Next topic.
Yeah. But this one is very exciting, and this will lead into the box office. Inside Out 2 hits $1 billion.
It's the fastest animated film to do so.
The fastest animated film to do so, and dare I say the best?
Yeah, I would agree. We when we went and saw it a few weeks ago, I really loved it. Huge fan of the first one, so I was really worried. I was like, I want a follow up to be, to be good, and it was really good. So not only does it deserve it, but the box office needs it. This year has, if you've been paying close attention to the numbers, they've been pretty weak. And then June came. June was like a gift from God because we had Bad Boys 4, which Molly also saw with me. I was like, did you see the other ones? And she goes, there are other ones.
There are other ones.
But I was like, that's not a problem. I said, I can fill you in when they reference it. And they didn't reference the other ones very much. So I was just like, oh, that happened and that happened. Like, a lot of people get so upset when they're like, if they have a significant other and they're like, I want to see whatever 3. Well, have you seen the other 2? No. And then they go into a tizzy about it. I was like, okay, well, I suggested to her, I said, if you have time, they're all available on Hulu. If not, that's not a big deal. And we had so much fun with that. So Bad Boys open with $56 million. Inside Out 2 comes out the next week and does 3 weeks in a row at number 1, open with 154 million. It's at 480 domestic right now. So
and that will lead us into the box office. This number in 3 weeks, $1 billion. $1 billion. It'll not be the only film releasing in the next month that reaches $1 billion. We'll go into that in just a minute. But this was the box office results for this weekend. 43% in its third week, dropping not even 50% in its third week, making $57 million. Quiet Place Day 1, not far behind it at $52.2 million. Horizon, we didn't expect this to do massive numbers at $11 million. Bad Boys Ride or Die is holding strong, losing theaters, but still has 3,300 theaters, making $10 million. And this film, Kalki, I'm not even going to lie to you. I didn't even know about this until I saw people get excited about it over nothing.
That's the thing with Bollywood films and movies from Indian countries and everything. They pop up like at random. So when they pop up on the charts, that you don't expect it. Then again, there's no advertising over here in America.
Yep.
At least on networks that I see, because it's like, who's going to want to go see? Who's going to want to see something like that advertised? It's not a traditional movie.
And the funny thing is, right? I was at work today, and I had a little bit of time off, so I checked my email, and I was offered a screening link for Kalki 2898 AD, and I went, really? I love movies, man, but I don't know if I want to sit through 2 hours and 50 minutes of this on my computer.
Oh, what I do is with my laptop, I just take my HDMI cord and I just plug it into the TV.
I'm gonna have to do that, but the issue is I'm barely in my room, and my family controls the big TV.
So yeah,
That's okay.
I mean, with my, I'll move it over just a little bit so you can see. So my TV's back there, and I have a Blu-ray player hooked up. I got the Fire Stick so I can do all the digital releases and all that. And I have my Xbox 360. It's paused right now. That's what yours. And no, I'm not playing Hannah Montana the movie, Molly. That's only for us. That's because my friend got it, and we found it at one of his Christmas parties, and we were like, "Why the hell do you have this?" He goes, "It was $3.99." So
that's a perfect excuse.
But no, I take it, I'll put the laptop off to the side, and then I'll hook the HDMI cord up to it.
I'm gonna have to do that. I have a lot of screeners, which I can't say what they are, but because copyright and embargoes, I can't say nothing. But I will say after the stream. This is very exciting, but it's also scary as well. Dune Messiah and Star Wars Episode 10 open on the same exact day. Which one moves? I'm going to start out here. I think that Star Wars moves because Dune is the bigger property. It's more beloved right now, but Star Wars will inevitably make more money because it is Episode 10. But I think that Star Wars moves at least 2 weeks.
I would say so. A lot of people are probably going to argue, well, no, Barbenheimer did really well last year. Well, those are two that did very well because those are two very diametrically opposite films, Barbie and Oppenheimer. These are two similar films. They're science fiction films.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, maybe you could do like a Dune Wars or whatever. I hate that people are just trying to make another Barbenheimer tag. Like when Paw Patrol and Saw 10 opened last year, they're like, oh, it's Saw Patrol. And when The Exorcist was opening, it was originally going to open the same week as the Taylor Swift Eras Tour. And they're like, oh, it's The Exorcist. And I'm like, would you stop?
And now they're doing the exact same thing with Wicked and Gladiator 2.
They were doing it with Wicked and Moana, and they called it Moaned. So
Which that wasn't a bad name. That was actually really clever, I think. But that'd be really interesting. Going into the theater and saying, one for Moaned.
What?
What? Well, I'll say this: when I went to buy my ticket for the Barbie movie, the theater manager knows I go and see everything. My theater, I still have to walk up and say one for this. I said one for Barbie, and the person goes, "Are you sure?" And I went,
with Regal Unlimited, which is what I have. So the tickets come like this; they're barcodes. So I have for Despicable Me 4 and Kill. I don't have to say one for anything. I literally just tap. It goes that big, and they just go, hi. They scan it. They go, okay, you're in this theater. Get the hell away from me.
I would love that. The issue is my theater is only 2 auditoriums.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, it's 2 auditoriums, and I have a Cinemark about 30 minutes away that I don't go to very often. And the closest AMC is 45 minutes away. The closest Regal is an hour away.
Jesus. And
yeah,
I'm over here in the lap of luxury.
I always kid like, maybe I should go and spend a weekend with Kyle. See what the lap of luxury in a movie theater is.
You can keep going. I'm moving so I can hook my charger up.
Gotcha. But when my theater gets in a movie, it's always exciting because I wasn't sure if my theater was even going to get an Oppenheimer or a Killers of the Flower Moon, because they're always asked, will you get this? They're like, we don't know. If the studio will offer us a 1-week deal, like with this time it is everyone's asking for Horizon. And she went, hey, if they offer a 1 week deal, then we will play it for 1 week only. And if they do that, I will go down there and I will hold my pee in for 3 hours and watch that movie because I'm very, very excited for it.
Oh yeah, it's awesome. I hope it sticks around long enough for chapter 2, so that way it could be like the ideal double feature. Although I can't sit through that long in the theater again. So
no, but we'll have a couple more topics, and we're going to look at the Netflix top 10 about what is on there because it changes every week, and this is entertaining to me because the same 2 movies have been in the top 10 for as long as I've been doing this freaking show.
pulling up Netflix now.
Oh, I've got it right here, man. This is great. Oh crap. Well, it's okay. Just so I don't get a copyright. Okay, here we go. The number 10, number 1 in movies. We have A Family Affair, which I don't know what you thought about it, but I really enjoyed that movie. I really thought it was charming.
I called it what it was. It was background noise. Okay. I didn't really care for it. I've seen worse Netflix originals. I've also seen better, so I was indifferent to it.
Yeah. Number 2 is Warcraft, which I still have not seen. I heard it was bad.
Horrible movie.
Jigsaw, that's a fun one. I like Jigsaw. Trigger Warning.
That was very, very mediocre. That's her first. That's Jessica Alba's first film in 5 years. She comes back and horrible script. It's really bad.
Horrible script, and it felt like they were hiding. They were hiding all of the action because it's obviously a stunt double. Minions, that's a given.
I have a funny story about Minions. So my mom and I went and saw that in theaters. And mind you, she had seen bits and pieces of the first 2 movies. About a good 10 minutes in to Minions, she was like, they're not speaking English? And they're not going to tell us what they're saying? What the fuck?
Your mom is one of the greatest people I've ever seen because she tells it like it is. And it is the greatest thing. Number 6. These next 2 movies have been in the Netflix top 10 for, I guarantee you, 2 months now. Mario Bros. And Shrek.
Well, Shrek is just a very, it's a modern class. That released on my 3rd birthday, May 18th, 2001.
And it's one of my all-time favorite films, is Shrek. I love Shrek.
Super Mario Brothers is just, it's super popular. I mean, Molly knows how popular it is because that was... So her son just turned 4. He's very precious. I love him to death. That was his first movie experience. They went by themselves to see it. Oh. And then when they got home and it became available to view on like Peacock and Netflix and all that, they watched it like another 20 times.
Number 8 is Home. I haven't seen Home. I'm going to watch that maybe in a couple weeks.
Home's pretty good.
Very unpopular opinion. I didn't like The Flash. I
I didn't care for it. It's a movie that's really hard to get into. When you see a movie like Godzilla -1 that cost $10 to $15 million to make, it looks gorgeous. And then you see that which cost $220 million to make, it looks horrible. Where is that money going?
Right to Michael Keaton's paycheck. No. And then number 10 is Miraculous World. That's a new movie, I guess. I don't know what that is. It says it's 54 minutes.
Barely a movie.
Yeah. And then the TV shows very, very quickly. Worst Roommate. Supercell. Owning Manhattan. America's Sweethearts, The Dallas Cowboys. That 90s Show. Your Honor. Suits. Bridgerton, The Mole, and Dexter.
My mom loves Dexter. She tells me to watch it, and I'm not interested. I love Jennifer Carpenter, though, so.
I'm interested in it. The issue is it's 8 seasons, and I watch a lot of shit. So I don't know if I have time for 8 seasons.
I want to get into the Golden Girls, and that's a very easy show to get into. So
that's a show, I kid you not, when I was in high school, they played them on the Hallmark Channel at 8 o'clock in the morning
Well, they still play them
until
on
11
Hallmark.
o'clock. Yeah, and they're on from 11 to 2. But right now, because it's Christmas in July, all these sad people, which the Christmas in July, I'm not kidding you. My family has watched 10 Christmas movies already. We are Christmas fanatics. We
It's
love
July
Hallmark
2nd.
Christmas. Yeah, but oh, the longest show I've ever seen is probably either Married with Children or Frasier, and that's 11 seasons. But because they're easy shows, they're 22 minutes an episode.
Yeah, everything's
easy.
now got to be like an hour long, and if you miss one episode, you're out of the loop. So
Yeah. And then the last thing for this week is what's releasing this week. So I have this pulled up in theaters and on VOD, which I've learned there's all these things that pop up on Vudu that they don't even announce. So this week is a very interesting week. We start off with Beverly Hills Cop Axel F, which I just did my full review for in the beginning of this stream. Despicable Me 4 comes out tomorrow as well. Space Cadet.
oh yeah, that I gotta watch. Yeah, that's
Yep. Yep. I've heard things. It's Emma Roberts. That's the only reason I'm gonna watch. I'm never gonna lie to you. I'm watching it purely for her.
Emma Roberts is a good actress. I like her.
Kill.
That's what I'm seeing tomorrow night.
No theater around me is getting Kill. No theater around me, which is sad. And then the Oscar-winning Best Picture film, Sound of Hope. No. Mother Couch, a small little independent film.
Cocaine
Maxine.
Werewolf.
Yep. Cocaine Werewolf. Going to theaters. Cleopatra Entertainment.
You know, my friend Tim, he's in he did one, like, as soon as Cocaine Bear got announced, like, they were like, we're doing all these weird, like, killer animal movies. So he's in something called Crackoon. So
I have heard of that. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think I've seen a poster for it, a fan made poster for it, just mocking it, and I'm like, well, you know what? A job's a job anymore.
yeah, that's true.
With Maxine, I'm disheartened because my girlfriend is not a fan of those types of horror films. She's seen the trailer twice. She saw it in front of Civil War, and
Civil
she saw
War
it
is
in
good.
front of something else. What was the other one? I can't remember, but she goes, babe, I know you want to see it, but I can't go and see that with you. And I said, that's understandable. I completely understand. I waited for Voodoo for those other two, for X and Pearl, which X and Pearl are great. I think Maxine looks a little bit better, in all honesty.
Yeah. My film critic friend, Dustin Putman,
Super nice guy.
he has seen Maxine. He says it's awesome. So I'm really looking forward to it.
And then Back to Black comes on Peacock. I'm excited to see that, finally.
Yeah, that's a really good one. I was in the minority with that. I really enjoyed that.
I will be renting Murder Company with William Moseley and Kelsey Grammer. William Moseley doesn't get a whole lot of roles anymore, but I'm not surprised, in all honesty. Goyo is a new film on Netflix. I believe that's a new Netflix Italian rom-com. The Imaginary is a anime film on Netflix.
That's on my list to watch.
This is going to be the main movie everybody watches on Lifetime, is Amish Affair.
That reminds me. Oh my goodness. I have a picture of it. I know she's going to bring it up. When Molly and I went out for our 1-year anniversary a couple months ago, we went to Savers to just kind of browse around and all that. And we found right here a bunch of, they're called Sugar Creek Amish mystery novels. And she really got a kick out of the one that's called Hark the Herald Angel Falls. So,
Well, I have a story about this one movie. My girlfriend knows I have a monster collection, and she asked me what the weirdest movie I own is, and I told her it was Butt Boy.
Oh, I don't have Butt Boy. I've heard
Yep,
of Butt Boy.
yep. I told her what happens at the end, and she goes, "You actually bought that?" I said, "No, the studio sent it to me."
What is the weirdest one? I mean, I have so much weird shit. I really do.
Oh, so do I. The Velocipaster.
I don't have that. I have. Oh my god, I can't even pick out just one. I really can't.
Oh.
Yeah, I
Uh,
can't. No.
what's another one? Oh, Carousel, about Duke the talking carousel unicorn.
Oh, for God's sake, that's.
He goes to a teenage party and he kills teenagers, and I forgot to mention he talks.
Oh well, the dog's got to talk, of course.
Yeah, of course. But to finish this off, we have just a couple more things releasing this week.
Boneyard looks entertaining. I want to see that. That's the like a Lionsgate action film with Mel Gibson and 50 Cent.
I think that'll probably come to digital later in July. Probably.
That's on my radar.
And then to finish this off, next week on Blu-ray is an expensive week. It's Abigail, Challengers, Boy Kills World, Tarot, Civil War, Unsung Hero, Fast Charlie, and then for everybody who wants to rent it, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
Unsung Hero was a religious movie that wasn't too bad.
The only ones I've seen is Tarot and Abigail. Challengers didn't play at my theater, and neither did Boy Kills World. No. I saw Abigail and Civil War. So, funny story. When my girlfriend and I started dating, I'm like, hey, I'm really into movies, so I go to the theater a lot. Our first day was actually for Civil War. And she's a little morbid. So during the Jesse Plemons scene.
Oh God, one of the greatest performances of the year, and he's not even in that movie very long.
No. When he does what he does to the one character, right? It's the theater is fully silent, and I'm there with her right beside me. The dude gets shot, and she goes, "Ha!" And I'm like, why is that funny? Because it was just his facial reaction.
Our first date was at the 5 o'clock lounge. It was my friend's band that was playing. I told her that it was a punk band. I didn't tell her the name. They play in a band called Gas Station Boner Pills. So that was our first date. Our first movie date was actually the following Monday. It was a mystery movie, and it was the Gerard Butler movie Kandahar.
I still haven't seen that one. I've heard it's very good.
Yeah, I liked it.
We've only done a few dates at the movies. We've done Civil War, Abigail, If. We're gonna do Despicable Me and Deadpool. She wanted to see Fly Me to the Moon, but she changed her mind, which that's fine. That'll be on Apple Plus probably in October. I'm gonna guess, more than likely.
Probably.
But we have a very busy week of movie watching. I have a lot of screeners.
Yeah, I have Despicable Me and Kill tomorrow. Thursday, I'm doing Beverly Hills Cop, and Space Cadet, and then rewatching X and Pearl because Friday morning is Maxine. And that's really that's all that's on my plate. I'm really excited for Beverly Hills Cop, though. I love the original 3 films so much, so I hope this one is really good.
I will say this. No spoilers. I just watched the first 3 this past weekend for the very first time because I had never seen them.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't even expecting to get a screener. No answer. So I email them, and how it normally works is they go, cool. What's your channel name? You send it. If they like your videos, they normally say, okay, cool. Here's a screener. This is the date that it comes out. Instead, I get a email at 10:30 in the morning, one random morning last week, and it says, here's your screener for Axel Foley. And I went, thanks. That would have been nice, because now I got to watch the first 3 to understand it.
Yeah, it's the original 3 are so they're endlessly just enjoyable to me. Especially the first one. The first one is so great. I showed Molly the line because I do when I'm on Facebook. If I encounter some stupidity in the world, I go like, on this week's episode of everyone's favorite, Ohio Isn't Real. Yeah. There's a line that Axel says. Axel in the first movie, he's pretending to be like a security checker. He's like, I do security checks all over the nation, and with the exception of Cleveland, this is the worst security in the world. And I went, okay, well, that was in 84, so he knew 40 years ago that we weren't shit.
Well, I'll say this: where I am, it is not much better. But that's Ohio for you. It's not real. It's Ohio. But before we go away, subscribe to Kyle. It's Concrete Angel. I'll leave his link down below. He's currently doing his whole 2,000 film collection of Blu-rays. It's probably a lot more than that.
No, I would say you're probably right around that mark. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna shoot. I think not tonight, but tomorrow. No, not tomorrow either. Probably Thursday. I'm gonna film 2 more parts. The first 4 parts are up right now. So.
And this year I have to do mine because I haven't done mine in over probably 2 years, and it's grown a lot. But would you ever want to come back on again?
Oh, absolutely.
We will talk about that, but I would like to try and get you on for Deadpool because I know you're a big Deadpool fan.
Yeah, Molly and I are going to see that. We definitely want to see that.
Yeah, Deadpool. The Bike Riders is one I also saw with the girlfriend, which was very interesting.
Bike Riders was
really good. Oh, it's very good. We walked in the theater, and it's in the small theater.
My friend, not to interrupt, my friend Najada worked on that as a PA. So,
oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool. Where was that shot?
Shoot. Good thing I got my phone on me. Let's the Bike Riders. I know sometimes a lot of Clevelanders go out to PA to come on, country of origin, also filming. Oh, so Cincinnati, Ohio, and Ludlow, Kentucky is where they shot.
Okay. I forgot to mention that I do have 2 reviews coming next week, which thank you to, don't want to get the company wrong, Dark Sky Films. 2 packages that this weekend came, and they sent me the Blu-ray of Faceless After Dark. And then the Hatchet Complete Collection Steelbook.
Oh, I gotta get that. That's on my radar now.
I have not seen any of these films besides Victor Crowley, so I'm ridiculously excited. And I know they're only 80-something minutes a piece, so I know they're short watches. I'm expecting gory, bloody, stupid fun with bad acting.
Oh, what? I just saw it. Where is it at? Shit, I lost it. Oh, whatever.
Oh, well. But thank you guys for watching, and we will see you next time. And now it's time for my new favorite thing of the show is I finally made an intro and an outro. So thank you guys for watching. We'll see you all next time. So where can you go when the fire is low?